Hey folks, coming at you with a late night video, and I think this is a very positive video for us as a community. I always look into things, especially with stuff like this. I look into things quite deeply, and I put myself in the shoes of, for instance, TFL. And I think to myself, what do they think of the LUNC community? Well, for a year and 5 months, we've been a community that is rifted apart. There's been lots of different factions, there's been lots of different divides, and it's never really been a polite approach, real kind of subtle and just sort of being very respectful of people's boundaries, but sort of saying at the same time, hey, look, we're here, we're a community, we exist, we're not going anywhere, we're not merging, and neither us, we're not budging at this point. And prior to this new team taking over, specifically Chris Armani, things weren't going too well. There was a lot of stuff. There's a very bad image that is attached to DK and DK being attached to TFL. There's a lots of in and outs to this whole thing. And I just think this whole revamp, this way of moving forward is probably the best thing that they could do. Now, I did request a few things recently, and I've been in touch through Twitter. I've been reaching out and going through the direct lanes of communication and trying to do things as upfront and as open as possible. Because what I want to do is not only show them that, hey, we're here, we care, this community's here, and I'm here. Could you get these things done? I want them to see that the community respects them. They understand what they've been through, and for us to respect them is for them to respect us. And if we can put ourselves in their shoes and sort of see where they've come from, what they've had to go through to get here, I think we're all going to move forward a lot better. Because as it stands, the main wallet you all use, and you can go on the App Store, you can look at the numbers, about 95% of this community uses the station, which is provided by TFL. And this is the station that all of you use. Now, getting the rejected proposals corrected was so important. The fact that they've just gone and done this and got this up and running is really important. There's a lot of people who are saying, what's going on with swaps on chain, Jay? What's happening with this? What's happening with that? And honestly, I've been doing a lot of research. I've been looking as to what's going on. And from what I can tell, TerraSwap is going to be doing an update, and that update is ready to go. And I think it's all down to pretty much the market module being out of balance. It doesn't calculate correctly. It's all being corrected. And this seems like it's going to be an update that's rolling out. I think it was supposed to be at the end of November, but from what we've just found out now, another direct response from the station wallet, which is who you should reach out to. For example, if you've got a fix, right, for something and you've created the fix and you want to put it forward, this is where you go to. You ask them for the repository and you put a PR request in. Anybody can fix anything. They'll check it over and they'll get it put through. So we can see that the Station mobile app will be updated, including with a fix for this issue when Station V3 is released in mid-November. And they're talking in relation to the swaps. As you can see, we were talking about as to why the swaps could be down and all of these different things. But I think everybody's waiting to roll their updates out, and the new update to I think it's a new Oracle fix. There's a lot of stuff that goes into these updates. I may be butchering this a little bit for anybody who is a developer on chain who is listening. There is an update that needs to roll out. It's not just because we're in DeFi, right? There's so many different parties involved with an update. For example, like with everybody with their phones, Samsung roll out an update or iPhone roll out an update. Some people in different countries might get it first, and some people might not upgrade as quick as others. And it's the same with this. When an update rolls out from TFL, for example, every single validator has to do changes. They have to upgrade themselves. And that happens for every single DApp. This is why it's so important to be active on chain. But for us, where we're sitting right now, for me, this is positive because this infrastructure is there, it's being updated, and the fact that we're being incorporated into all of the future update, it speaks mountains at this point. So something I've worked to more or less show and provide for the community is the fact that guess what? You don't need to pay for a third-party wallet because we actually have it. We don't need to pay for endpoints either because guess what? That's right, we've actually got them. We're at a point now where TFL are starting to listen to us. It's a new team. If we can sort of streamline ourselves, if we can show them that we are grateful, we are here, and we do want to be part of the system, they will keep upgrading things and they'll show us more attention. And maybe, just maybe, because this is what we need, right? Everybody says we need a steward. We need someone who's going to be a guardian of the chain. And for all intent and purposes, TFL are the perfect guardian at this point because they update everything. They've got the repository. People like myself, if, for example, with the dynamic commission module or the dynamic tax, we can simply just put a PR up. They can check the PR and they can merge it. If there's any problems, we can alter it. We don't live in a society where just because you're maybe very new to GitHub, they're not going to look at your work. They're not going to. It's a very peculiar thing, I think, for a lot of people to get over. But if you follow the correct lanes of communication, for example, the dynamic module was spoken about, put in a roadmap, spoken about even more, then put on for a proposal that got passed, then it got built, then it gets implemented. You followed all of the right lanes of communication. Of course, they're going to merge it as long as it works. It doesn't break anything. They're going to do these things. And this is something we've been led to believe. And I was led to believe this over a very long course of time. And this is what happens when you are listening to a middleman, because the middleman can change things. And what happens is people will give you the information they know is relevant to you, as to which they're funneling and streamlining you to their applications. And we've always been led to believe that TFL doesn't care. They've given up on us. They don't give two tits about this community. And that's not the case. We're a huge community. We're totally untapped. We've got a lot of love to give. We're very supportive to those who support this chain. When Terra Rebels was first around, everything was going really good, right? From the top to the bottom, there was not a person who would speak a bad word. We had this development team that was the greatest development team of all times, built of the most finite people. They listened to the community, they worked for the community, and it was a community-owned chain. The only thing they did was turn everything back on. That was it. The whole thing was just built off of this idea around having a development team that actually worked for the community. And that idea and that image got lost for a long time. So from where I'm sitting, right, all I see is TFL are actually showing support. They're actually continuing to update our wallet systems and keep us in sync and make sure everything's going tickety-boo. And they're actually responding to us, which is, for all intent and purpose, it's peculiar. When I see this app come up on my phone, I was thinking, oh God, they're responding again. This is great. You know, someone said, when's this going to get fixed? And they've said it's going to get fixed in the next update. And it's like, we're now becoming part of this system. Like, a lot of people don't realize that TFL actually created a Twitter for LUNC, an official Twitter for LUNC. We have a very specific document system, which seems to be a little bit different from other document systems that are provided. So there's all these different signs, right? When I look deeper into things, I put myself in their shoes. I think they're starting to come around to the idea that we are a very, very substantial community and we are very strong. And there's a lot of us that have built really good stuff. We've got a lot of good developers. And what we need right now is a steward like this, someone who's going to not take the reins. It's not going to act like a tyrant over everybody, but is just going to do what the community gets passed through governance and what we really need. Because if we've got this sort of stewardship, we've got the free infrastructure, we've got the wallet system being updated, then it's at this point, all of our money should go into an R&D department, you know, a very, very finite development team. And instead of paying people to create something we've already got, right, and create this third-party systems and do all of these things which are never really built for the chain, it's all a waste of money. But for example, if developers would say to themselves, right, well, we have got this and we have got that, and HCC is right, we should be creating a research department and really thinking about how we can further better this chain and how we can get ourselves ready for the alliance system that's going to be incorporated, the enterprise system that's going to be incorporated. There's so many lanes that we can take right now. And as a community, we're starting to stand very strong. Once again, seeing the Six Samurai getting shut down because of a simple fact: we don't know this team. We don't know the developers. We don't even know if they're real. The community have wised up to a point now where they decided to utilize the free infrastructure. Regardless of what the vote was, it was voted for that people wanted to utilize the free infrastructure. And that's the beauty of everything. Even with all the people saying, oh, chasing away developers, doing this HCC, doing that HCC. Hey, at the end of the day, all you can do is propose things, right? I tried to meet people in the middle. They didn't want to meet in the middle. I found cheaper infrastructure. That's just the way the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. That's the beauty of decentralized decision making, that it's not just one person. And for all intent, but like, a lot of people will probably benefit a lot better if voting was just unanimous at this point and you didn't have your name attached to your vote, because you could probably vote more freely without thinking to yourselves, am I going to upset people? But at the same time, we do need to see a voting track record, and it's all part of the decentralized system. And when I think of stuff like that, and they are just thoughts, I always think to myself, guess what? This is DeFi. There's a system. It's been put in place for a reason, right? You can't try to come in and change the system. You may as well just go off and build another chain or go and work somewhere where there's a centralized authority. We've got to seriously think about where we want to be as a community and how we can best harness everything around us. For me, this is more good signs for our community. We should be very grateful. We've got people like TFL. We've got people like Allnodes that, regardless of them getting paid, they're not packing up shop. They're not moving away. And I can tell you something now, they're running at a substantial loss in comparison to everybody else. And for those who are running at the loss, right, you're not alone. People like myself have run at nearly a $20,000 loss on their node. Classy Crypto had to pack up and leave because I think he run at like a $22,000 loss. That shouldn't be like that, but it is. So if you are still here, congratulations to you, because you've made it. We're at a point now where things are starting to take a turn. People are taking a stand in the community, and people are starting to speak up more and more and more for what they believe in and what they stand by. And they're not getting scared of all of these different things and these different bad actors. And people are just simply starting to ignore them. And that is the best thing you can do. Because they want you to argue with them. They want you to respond. They want to drag you out in public and make you look silly, make you look childish. That's the whole point behind all of this. Meanwhile, they've always banked on this idea of us all bickering and sort of going at each other's throats. So we're so busy fighting each other that we miss all of these key things, whereas that's not happening anymore. We've shaken out the dead weight. We've removed the paychecks. The chain is beginning to breathe again. This is so important. Folks, let me know what you think about TFL. Show some love for all of these people that show love to our chain, because these are the things that are keeping us alive. It's not these people that are charging us in and out for our own set of legs to walk on. It's these kind of people that are just doing stuff in the background because they want to do stuff for the chain, because they can believe it can get to somewhere better. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.